Guys, it's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Okay guys, so I got a message from a woman. She's an Aquarius. She said that she's about my age. I'm 42. She's about in her 40s. And she really has not done a lot of dating, just here and there. She doesn't have any children. And she's really spent most of her life working on her education and her career. She's very busy, which is very common for Aquarius. We're often very busy. And she, at this point in her life, is feeling very lonely. She wants to start dating. So she's been talking to her friends about it, and her friends have recommended online dating and, you know, apps for your phone like Tinder and things like that. And they recommended that she do some of that. So she asked me, what do I think about Aquarius and online dating? And I think that it's really great for Aquarius, because one of the things I noticed about online dating, because I've done a lot of online dating, a lot of party line dating myself, because I was always busy, always in college, always working. I was always doing something. And even now, the other day, I was thinking I should do some online dating because I haven't been dating anybody for years now. And I was like, I think I need to get back on the horse. So anyway, this is what she wants to do. So she was asking me, what did I think about Aquarius and online dating? Basically, is it a good idea? Is it safe? That kind of thing. And I would say this, first and foremost, online dating is good for Aquarius because we are so busy. Online dating is easy. You put a message and some pictures out there and people can peruse you and see if you're their type, and vice versa. And if you have a match, then the two of you hook up. It's kind of simple in that kind of way. It's very easy. So that part about it is great for Aquarius. It's not going to take up a lot of time. It might take you at the most an hour to do a good profile if you're really writing good stuff, and they might have a questionnaire, or you might want to add some pictures. Some of them don't even take that long. Some of them you might be able to hook up in a couple of minutes. But it depends on how in depth and in detail you get into your profile. So it shouldn't take long for you to hook it up. And the dating itself is pretty cool. Aquarius are into things that are, you know, and it's not really so much futuristic at this point, because I mean everybody does it, but it's the newest technology in dating, and Aquarius are good with new technologies and things like that, so it's not a bad thing and it's not hard to do. The only thing is, I'm going to say up front, when you're online looking for a husband or a boyfriend or a date, a male date, because she's looking for a guy, you're going to run across a lot of married men. You're going to run across a lot of players, a lot of users. You know, you're going to run across that in both genders, but in her case, she's looking for a guy. So you're going to run across a lot of that. So up front, I want you to know that you're going to run into a lot of time wasters. A lot of time wasters. So you have to weed through all of that to get to the people who may be worth your time. Okay? So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you up front. Now I'm going to give you 10 tips to help you with online dating. For any of you, Aquarius or not, these should be very helpful. First of all, when you first meet the person, you know, you see their profile, they see yours, you click, you like each other. When you first decide that you want to start talking to them, I suggest checking them out online thoroughly. Look at their profile, but also look to see if they're in other places online. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Snapchat? Because a friend of mine, her mother met a gentleman online and they started to talk to each other. She really liked him. He was very handsome. And come to find out, he had another Facebook page. And on the other page that she found from just typing in his name, he had married and he had pictures of his wife and his kids. The one he was talking to her on had single, and it was just pictures of him in football and stuff like that. So first of all, I would say do a quick Google search to see if they have other pages, because you might do that real quick and find out that they're lying to you, and it's up front. You can check them off the list. Number 2, ask for recent full body pictures. Why do I say this? Because a lot of people use old pictures. So they'll send you an old picture from like high school and they do not look like that no more, okay? And looks are important. I'm not, going to say you're going to be shallow, but you at least want the person to be attractive. And some people will use an old picture and also a full body picture. Some people will use a picture from here up and you can't see nothing underneath there. And only God knows what's going on down that part. So you want to see a good look of how the person looks from head to toe right now. Clothed, of course, but how do they look right now? And also, this keeps you from getting what we call catfished. Catfished is when somebody pretends to be someone else. Okay? So, this is not going to stop them from sending you somebody else's picture, but it will stop them from catfishing you with some of their old pictures. You can't stop somebody from sending you somebody else's picture. I mean, you're not going to be able to deal with that. I'm going to give you a way around that, though, but you're not going to be able to stop that, But you can stop them from catfishing you with old pictures of themselves, which some people have done. I had somebody send me a picture from high school, and they were like in their 40s, and they didn't look nothing like that picture no more. Just a vague resemblance. So how do you get around that? Well, the next one says video chat at different times of day. So if this person sends you pictures and you think they're attractive, the next step is when they're ready to video chat. Video chat on Facebook, video chat on FaceTime or whatever that is on your phone. Video chat with them, because then you can see them face to face. You can hear their voice. You can see what they look like. It's like watching a video of me. You can see the person. So if you video chat with them at different times of day, I always tell people do it at different times of day, because a lot of people who are hiding something will always talk to you around the same time of day. I've come to find that. And it's because of the fact, in most cases, that they'll tell you it's because they work or something like that. But nobody's always busy at the same time of day. For example, I'm usually busy during the week from like 4 a.m. to like 6 p.m. But on the Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes just Sunday, there is time. There's a little time frame in there. So whenever possible, I try to video chat with them at different times a day to see what's really good. I can see them. I can see that it's actually them. And I can see, usually if people are around, they can't hide that all the time. But they can hide it if their wife works 11 to 7 and you guys are always talking 11 to 7. So if you talk at different times of day, it's harder for them to be able to hide things. The next one, don't meet right away. Give it a week, give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks, give it some time. Talk to them for a while. Get to know them. I'm not saying months and months and months, because unless you're long distance, there's really no need for that. But I think you should chat with them for a while, video chat with them for a while, get to know them for a while, that kind of thing, before you decide to meet them in person. Next one. Meet in a public place. When you do decide to meet them, meet in a public place, because some people will meet at their house. And I'm like, are you serious? I remember one time I was with a friend of mine and he was on Tinder, and I was with him in his car, and apparently on Tinder you can change the zip code. So we were in a different neighborhood than his normal neighborhood. So he was doing what he called cruising. a lot of men, I'm not sure if it's a gay man thing or it's a man thing, but he's a gay guy, and he told me he was cruising. So basically, he was in a different neighborhood. He typed in a different zip code in Tinder, and some guy came up he had never met before. So he talked to the guy in the application. 2 minutes later, he was like, we're going to go pull up to his crib. I was like, what? The guy lived not far from where we were. So he drove a couple of minutes, got to the guy's house, got out the car, was talking to the guy. The guy came outside. He was talking to him. And I'm sitting here like, they done broke every rule of engagement that I possibly can think of. First of all, you don't know him. You just gave a guy you don't know your address to your mother's house that you're staying at with your mom. I found out later. I could be crazy. He could be crazy. He could be a serial killer. We could be setting you up to rob you. I mean, let's keep it real. We could have been awful people. He didn't know us. We're just some strangers on the internet. or on the cell phone, you know? So we could have been awful people. We could have been coming to rob him. Anything could have happened. So, and you're giving out your address to your mom's house to these strange people. Like, I never would do something like that. So when you meet them, meet in a public place, at a library, at a cafe, at a bar, you know, anywhere, someplace, you know, not real close to your home, like 5 or 6 blocks away from your home, or 5 or 6 blocks away from your job, or 5 or 6 blocks away from your best friend's house, something like that. Meet someplace public though, the library, the train station, someplace at a decent hour of day. So if something happens, if they try to kidnap you or harm you, or if you just feel uncomfortable, you're able to signal for help. So meet in a very public place at a decent time of day. I used to meet at the restaurant. The Chili's, for those of you from Philadelphia, the Chili's on Ogons Avenue was my meetup spot, you know? Then there was another bar. It was a bar down the road. I can't remember what it was called. It was called Shrimpies. That was my other meetup spot. Like, you know, go someplace that's crowded, you know? And you can go meet there. Follow the 90-day rule. After you do meet the person, don't jump in bed with them, because everybody I know that does this ends up either A, getting played, or B, having a emotional attachment quicker than they should have developed an emotional attachment. The guy I told you, the gay guy that I was with, he and I pulled up to meet the guy. He met him. They both liked what they saw. We finished our business. He dropped me off and went back and had sex with that guy. Okay? Then told the guy they would meet up the next day, blocked the guy on Tinder, and never saw him again. And when I asked him why, he was like, oh, because he loose. I was like, excuse me? And he was like, well, if he would do it with me, he would do it to anybody. But you did it with him too, you know? But my friend felt as though he was too quick. So if he can give him to him that quick, then he don't want to be with him. So he blocked him and went about his business. So be really careful with that. Follow the 90-day rule, not only because people play games like that, but also because of the fact that you don't want to have a premature emotional attachment, as we've talked about in the past. Next, before you do be intimate, let's say it is 90 days. Let's say it's 89 days and you're ready to go. Consider a background check. A lot of places on the internet, you can do a legitimate background check for $30 or something like that, and they will tell you in the background check all of the public information about that person. So if this person is a serial killer, if they've ever been, you know, arrested for, you know, harming someone, domestic violence, for example, espionage, whatever, that will be in their background check. And then you can make an informed decision like, do you want to date this person or not? Some of the times doing a background check on a person will show you things that you do not want to deal with. So before having sex with them, consider a background check. Even if it's been 90, 100 days, consider that. Visit their home. After you started to talk to each other, you should be visiting each other's homes. And if they have a home that you can't visit, that's definitely a red flag, and you need to be careful about that energy. It could just be that their home is not that great and they don't want you to see it. It could be that they live with their mama. It could be that they live with their husband or their wife and they 10 kids, you know? So be very careful about that. You want to visit their home surroundings. You also want to see how they're living to see if they're a total slob. That might be something that you can't deal with, you know? So you want to see how they're living before you get into a serious relationship. Next, pay attention to red flags. Pay attention to, and I would say heed, red flags. If you see red flags of any kind, such as they're always coming to your home, but you can't go to theirs, but they supposedly live by themselves. They live not far from you, but never want to meet up in person. Things like this are signs of a catfish. Somebody who is faking you out. You know, if a person never wants to talk to you in video chat, but they sending you pictures all the time, that's a red flag. That person is more than likely a catfish. They're probably sending you pictures of another person. I remember one time I told you guys somebody stole my whole identity and created a lesbian chat profile and was macking babes with my pictures, and that's just a time I found out about. I'm sure it happens all the time. So you really want to make sure that you don't get into that situation. So you really want to pay attention to red flags of any kind, because red flags of any kind will show you things. A lot of times when somebody gets catfished, they saw 1,000 red flags. Like, for instance, on the show Catfish, which is all about this, one person was saying he knew this person for years and they would never meet. And when he finally did meet her was a him. So stuff like that. Watch out for red flags, because people play games. I know somebody right now who has like 10 different profiles, and some are men and some are male and some are female. He's a guy. So sometimes when he gets bored, he will sit there and talk to men and pretend to be a woman, and talk to women and do all kinds of different things. He's a trip. He's a real trip. He's a very, very trolling kind of individual. And I'm always telling him not to do that, but he thinks it's amusing and does it all the time. So be careful. Lastly, if you feel uncomfortable at any time, back off. If you feel uneasy during any of this process, cut it and run. Just leave it alone. Leave the person alone. Block them. Cut. Do whatever you got to do, and just leave them alone. If you feel uneasy, if you feel threatened, if you feel anything along those lines, cut that shit off and go. But remember, it could just be a red flag, but if it makes you feel uneasy, heed it and move on. Okay? So good luck with your dating ventures. If you follow these steps, hopefully you'll meet somebody who's worth your time. That's going to be your biggest thing, is sifting through all of the muck. Because you're going to find a lot of crap. I'm sorry to say it, but you're going to find a lot of crap. And to find one or two good people is definitely worth it. Okay? All right, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who is dating or considering dating in this kind of medium. Okay? Or if you know somebody who's dating in this medium and isn't doing these things, send this to them and tell them I said really consider it. Likewise, if you would like to send me a love donation, I will leave my information. And that's it. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.